bring Stan Fitzgerald on. Like I said, he is the Veterans for America First when it comes to a lot of things that is happening with veterans right now. Stan is at the floor of it, and not only that, he has really, really, really been trying to promote me and Dave and the show and what we've been doing and how we've been doing it. So everybody, y'all get over there and y'all follow Veterans for America First .us. Did I say it right? I think I did.
You did.
Y'all go over there and check out Veterans for America First or VFAF .us. So hey Stan, I'm more relaxed now. How you doing?
All right. Yeah, I got a little scared there in that first segment. I can't unhear or unsee those things, so we'll switch over to the PG version now. It's a shame. Right.
It's
So
not a shame.
before we
It's
start,
I was getting ready to say it's not a shame because they was targeting you first. On the first
yeah.
on that list, it was military veterans. That was the first people they had already segregated and put on a list are the people that sacrifice not only their mentality, their souls, and their spirits to our nation for them to leave the military and be placed on a right wing extremist violent list. That's a shame. But go ahead.
Well, Lucretia, I'm a retired police detective, not a veteran. We do both military and vets. But I do want to back up to something you said with supporting your show, and that's because your show is great and you are part of the VFAF family. And before we get into, and your messaging is always on key. Before we get into the inauguration, which you wanted to talk about, I do want to remind people that you are running for NRA board. And I just want to point out that Lucretia was named on President Trump's gun owner coalition. It was a national list. She was handpicked. And that just shows she's the right person for this job with the NRA. So I want to take up a little of my own time here to talk about Lucretia being qualified. So please, when you go to the convention in April, make sure you vote for her. When the magazine comes out, if you're a member, you'll get it. Make sure you vote for her. You'll see the ballots in there. So I'll turn it back over to you. It's your show.
Well, I'm nervous, and like you said, I'm always promoting everything else but ourselves, and I have to remember that. And it is a big deal, Stan. I think it's hitting me every day about the NRA, but I don't. I'm one of those people. I have to see it before it actually sinks in. And I think I will probably be calling you when I have that magazine in my hand, screaming, "Stan, it's here! It's here! It's here!" And I think I will take it very serious because like I said, I told you before, we've been through so much. We have had so many opportunities that has fallen through, and I'm just sitting here idly waiting and trying to be patient on what door He has me to go into. So if I beat up on myself, it's because I'm so damn used to doing it, and I just appreciate you keep giving me a swift kick to stop doing it and actually just really start promoting ourselves because we do a good job. So I appreciate you always, making me not attack myself, but attack the lefties.
There you go. And most patriots, are not into self promotion. Politicians are, and you have to self promote as a politician. But grassroots groups like ours, we promote the group and we go after the left or the rhinos at the right time. So by nature, because that's why you don't focus on yourself. So you keep talking about the NRA, and we got to keep getting our viewers across the country to vote for you. So um, the inauguration, you wanted to talk about the inauguration. So,
I really want to talk about who's in the room, what you saw, who did you meet. I saw Billy Ray Cyrus and the rest of them. But go ahead and
oh,
tell how much of a great time that I missed out on.
well, it was cold, the line to get in. So just before you beat yourself up about missing it, it was a 2.5 hour wait to get into the venue in the freezing cold. But other than that, it really was an experience that we'll remember for a lifetime. But let me just preface before I get into details of what happened there. Um, Multiple members from our organization were invited. As far as the actual balls, Jeff Hoffman, who's a veteran, represented our group at the Commander in Chief ball, the military ball. And then myself and Jared Craig from the political team represented us at the Liberty Ball for the president. They were personal invites from members of Congress. And we also had personal invites from other members of Congress for seats at the inauguration that didn't happen, the outside swearing in. And it was like 5 degrees. So, I'm not disappointed it didn't happen. I mean, it would have been 5 hours in the cold, and then I don't know if we would have made it to the ball.
Mm-mm.
But that aside, it was definitely worth the trip and an honor to be there. So to tell you what I saw, um, in the Liberty Ball, there was 15,000 people. So I didn't see everybody that was there. It was
Wow.
huge. But you mentioned Billy Ray Cyrus, and I want to defend the man. I had a chance to speak with him and rapper Tom McDonald for a few minutes, but Billy, I talked to several minutes. He's going to be putting out an album to benefit veterans, and his manager and his producer uh, said they were going to get involved with Veterans for America First to help. People in show business say a lot, but they did ask for our contacts. But Billy, everybody mocked him. I mean, look, the guy's going through something. I mean, look at his daughter. I mean, I hate to say this, but she's satanic, and Billy is a prince of a man. I mean, he's just a great guy. He's down to earth. And whatever he's going through right now, you all need to pray for him, not attack him. He's on our side. He's one of us, and he's a Christian. Um, so please support Billy Ray Cyrus. Don't keep hitting him.
Yeah, y'all support Billy Ray Cyrus. He hadn't came out with any music, so the only thing that I remember is, "Achy Break Your Heart."
Well, yeah, a lot of people say he was one hit wonder, but I mean, he did do some follow up hits as well over the years. And most, what I remember him most for is his acting with the show Doc. That was an incredible show. He's a talented actor. And I always like to picture him in that point in his life. I mean, inspiration, great actor, and a genuine man. All these people from Hollywood or the music industry that come out to support President Trump, they risk so much.
Hmm.
A lot of them get banned from their record labels or can't get a job, on television. So really, they're putting everything out there for the country. They're risking their employment, their security, and their brand to support the greatest president of our lifetime. So
Well, only
there's
because I
there's a
listen to a lot of rap music. They did Nelly the same way when President Trump asked him to come and perform at the inauguration, and Snoop Dogg, believe it or not. So, yeah, that's the only thing they have to do is attack people that don't believe like them. And when you're talking about Billy Ray Cyrus, because I do love entertainment and Hollywood news, so I kind of know about Billy Ray Cyrus and the divorce of Trish and everything that he's going through with his daughter Miley Cyrus. So I kind of understand that he actually did about turn. I would say about 5 years ago when a lot of stuff started popping off in his life, and he found his niche again. Because Billy Ray Cyrus, if you really looked at it when he first came out in the early '90s, he was all USA. He was all USA until he moved from Tennessee. I think that's where they live at. And he went to Hollywood with Miley, and then he changed. But then he came back home, and his life fell apart, like you said. And I think he just now finding his life again. So thank him for standing up for the veterans. Thank John Vogt for standing up for the veterans, and a lot of these people in Hollywood that didn't have a voice now have a voice again. So I understand exactly where you're coming from with Billy Ray Cyrus, and a lot of the people that we thought were lefties or wasn't people that was bold and speaking out about God, family, or country, or Trump. But now people can come back out the woodworks and actually show their support.
And you mentioned John Voight. I was in the hall with him and spoke to him for a brief moment, but he was surrounded by veterans, and he was very gracious to all the veterans who were talking to him. So another saint of a man in John Voight. So to give you a little insight of walking into the Liberty Ball, it was like walking into a basketball arena. It was that big. In fact, it was in the convention center in DC. But after you got in out of the cold and through long lines, we went to the floor that had the ball, and it was the whole floor because again, it was up to 15,000 people.
Wow.
And there was people we knew from all across the country, Georgia people that we ran into, Congressman Mike Collins, who's your congressman. He was there. And we ran into Colton Moore. Everybody loves Colton in the America First movement. Um, Brittany Ellison was there. She's done a lot to support the president and unify the base between our little rifts here with Kemp and Trump, which are hopefully in the past now, and we could all work together going forward. So these are all patriots that were there from Georgia, good people.
Do you see, what do you see? Did you get to see Doug Collins? Did you get to meet him or talk with him as being now the Secretary for the Veterans Affairs?
Well, we know Doug. Most of us on our team have talked to him numerous times in Georgia, uh, but most recently, no, I haven't seen him when I was in DC. I think members from our team are scheduling a meeting with him, with Rebecca Yardley and Doug, we've seen them dozens of times in Georgia and got to spend time with them. And Doug actually, the night of the election, put out an article for us to share on VFAF US and get it spread around to the veterans that Trump was going to solve the homeless problem for veterans, and I'm sure he will. Doug's already shown that he's thinking of our organization, and we'll do things like that to engage us with his platform.
Well, right now, from the Department of, what is it, Government Efficiency, what I was reading today, they said they have already going to save $1 trillion by cutting out so many different agencies. They're saying there's hundreds of agencies embedded inside of the government that wasn't elected. They was just formed, and it's basically wasteful spending. With Elon Musk going in with the Dodge efficiency department, some of the money that they are saving, do you think it could be allocated to the Veterans Affairs for the homeless vet, for veterans, any of the veterans goals they want to do, their medication, the medical, their benefits? Do you think some of that money, let's just take the southern border and how much money we was giving to the illegals that was coming across to babysit them, if we could get that money or even half of that money that the Biden administration was sending down or giving to the illegal aliens and reverse that and put it into the Veterans Affairs, do you think that a lot of opportunities to have less homeless veterans on the street could happen now?
Well, I think so, but I do want to preface that with, I'm not a legal expert on funding through the government, but I do know common knowledge. There's two ways to get things done as the president. One is by executive order, and the other one is by law through Congress. And now that we have a unified government, I think you will see money go to helping the veterans because we could get it passed through in some of these bills coming up. That would be my opinion. It's doable. And I know veterans and law enforcement are on President Trump's priority list. So I'm sure this is going to happen one way or the other.
Now, for Veterans for America First, because this is a new year, it's a new administration, it's a new day and new goals. What are some of the goals that you want to see set for Veterans for America First, the first year of President Trump tenure?
Well, our new national president, Robert Cornicelli, set out a very bullet point, 3-point agenda. And our mission, don't forget, we're all grassroots fighters, and our mission for the last couple of years was to get Trump elected, basically just politics. But now he's in. We have a unified government. We have a state chapter here in Georgia, which you're part of. And our mission coming down from national is number one, to get America First candidates and people into office. Number two is to actually help veterans, those homeless veterans and those in substance abuse. And we're going to do that through working through the Veterans Recovery Coalition. That's a nonprofit that Robert Cornicelli runs. And then number three, we want to work on legislation that helps veterans and police officers while we have this 2-year window. And we're going to do that not just at the federal level, but at the state level in multiple states as well. And we are working on a bill here in Georgia for police safety. And I saw Governor Kemp announced today that police, safety is going to be part of the agenda. So hopefully we will get this through. You're part of that. You were there with us presenting it to the legislators, and you're going to be there going forward. So, I know everybody still wants to fight here in Georgia, but we won. So now it's time to work together
we're
and get
gonna
things done for the
we're gonna
people.
work we're gonna work together. See, I was
There
good
you
the
go.
other night. I was
Oh, I wasn't
good.
talking to you. I was just talking to your viewers.
I was talking to myself. I was talking to myself.
Okay.
But now that we those three goals that are set out, how do you want other people to join the organization, join the grassroots movement? How can people that are watching right now that are interested in the Veterans for America First, how do they join, or what are you looking for, or what should they look for when they come to vfaf.us?
Well, if you'd like to sign up and volunteer, we will start you at social media. We're trying to grow our, social media footprint. Now, we had a Facebook page with over 300,000 members, and probably 70% of them are veterans. And of course, Zuckerberg destroyed that. That's gone. And I don't think it's ever coming back. So we started that over. But same thing with, Twitter. Everyone during the Biden years lost their social media.
Yes.
And Elon's restoring a lot of them. I don't know about Facebook, but we need to rebuild our social media. We reach millions through the press. We have thousands of supporters, but we need to grow our platform. So if you'd like to volunteer and help us do that, we'll start there and we'll see how you do, and eventually we'll use you to go to events and help us with candidates and interviews such as this.
Do
But
you
just
want them
log
to
on.
You want them to join your page because you got about 19,000 people following you right about now.
Well, you could just go on to vfaf.us and sign up there to volunteer. And if you want to go on Twitter, that's our main news source for our organization. That's at VFAF War Room. That's at VFAF War Room. So give us a follow on there, and you can keep up on all our news.
Now, with the Veterans for America, I mean, in Georgia, the Georgia part of it, and what we're trying to, present to the governor to actually save or help more with the police officers. Do you see that is going to be a big initiative with that? What's going on around the United States? And can we acclimate that once we get it passed here? Can we start pushing it out towards other states?
Yes, that is President Cornicelli's plan. Um, you and he and a bunch of our team has been meeting with the legislators, and it's in the works. Um, none of this stuff happens fast in government, but I think this will be pretty fast compared to other issues. So um, I think it's going to go through fine. And yes, once we get one signed, it makes it of national interest. And that we wanted to give Georgia the opportunity first, because our state legislators here and our governor here has always been very pro-military and pro-law enforcement. So there's something they could do. I don't want to talk about the actual bill yet, but there's something they could do that will increase the safety of police officers and the safety of civilians around police officers. And it's obvious. A safety reason. We've ran it by some of the chiefs of police here, and they all love it. So we'll get to it. We'll make it public once we get to the next step, and you'll be the first to know because you'll be there in person with the national president.
Now, when it comes again to the Veterans for America First, because we do have so many veterans with issues, and there's so many different organizations that help veterans, is there to me, is there a way for someone that's not happy with the service or the information they're getting from any other organization? Do you prefer and refer them to come over here to get questions answered because we are so accessible?
Yes, if you have questions, you could send an email through the website, and one of our veterans who've been doing this for years, helping other veterans, will guide you. And specifically with Robert Cornicelli, there's going to be some big news with his nonprofit and the efforts we're going to be making to help veterans. So please feel free to write in for help. I'm not a veteran, so I'm not going to be the one you're talking to. but we have numerous veterans on our national team and on our Georgia team. So we will connect you with a veteran that could get you the help you need.
Tell them
Hey,
about
border invasion. All
tell
right.
them why you went to the border to do this documentary, and not only this documentary, but why did you get started doing the documentaries you've already got out here? I know I have two: the border invasion, and then I have the other one. I forgot what Dave did with it, but can you tell them why did you take out of your hard-earned money, out of your own wallet, to go down to the southern border to find out what was going on and to actually do a documentary to let everybody else know what's going on?
Well, Lucretia, thank you for bringing up our films. We've made three as an organization. I produced one and directed two uh, with Jared Craig, but the whole team at the VFAF has been involved in these films, and as will you in the future, because we will keep doing educational projects. The border invasion, and the reason we did that film was because of what you've seen. It's the hundreds of thousands of illegals crossing into this country. Um, imagine if they all vote, we'll turn into a communist country. Now, in Georgia, Sally Grubbs just put some statistics out. For those of you who don't know, she's the Cobb County chair. She's been very actively involved in the president's election integrity team here in Georgia during the campaign. She's also with the state over 80 committee. But Sally put out some statistics that we have 330,000 illegals here,
Wow.
and that's concerning to me. When you get elections that are won by 19,000 votes, I mean, you're talking about flipping this state blue if we make the mistake of letting them vote. Now, I understand we have a lot of things in place so that doesn't happen, but then I see little things pop up like allowing homeless people to vote in Georgia. That scares the hell out of me because what's going to stop 300,000 illegals from saying, hey, I'm homeless, I want to vote, so we have to be careful in Georgia going forward. Everyone in this state has worked their ass off for election integrity.
So,
And the governor and a lot of people also after 2020 going forward, they did a lot of work to secure these loopholes. But our work in this state is not done. We need to stop these illegals from voting. We need to continue to make sure we have a fail-proof process here, or we're going to end up with somebody like Stacey Abrams. So let's not ever get there, Georgia. Keep fighting, and let's get these people out, these 300,000 people, and deport them. Just and Trump is doing that right now at
well,
the
in
the
Georgia, here's an issue. You do know they give them sort of like a temporary driver's license, which doesn't look too far from a regular Georgia's driver's license. And as long, and that's one of the things I have always asked my reps or any politicians in Georgia, how would a poll worker or someone at a voting booth know if a ID is legit or not? I know they scan it. I know they look at the back. I know all that. But if it looks so close to like the e-verified driver's license, who couldn't say they couldn't, bootleg these things and actually get them out there? And when you're talking about the 300,000, we do know we have sanctuary counties and sanctuary cities all over the state of Georgia. I can name Cartersville right now. Cartersville. Cartersville is a huge place where they send refugee resettlement people and also illegals. Stone Mountain area is another place. And now I am hearing within the last 5 years, Marietta, Georgia. So you got Cartersville, Georgia, which is over here by me. You have Stone Mountain area, which is over here by us. And then you have Marietta, which is on the other side over there by 75. And that is like a safe haven for the illegals in the state of Georgia. The only way that I see that's going to stop is that they got to stop the sanctuary cities and these governors inside of these, meaning not the governors, but the mayors inside of these cities. They're gonna have to let ICE do what they have to do. And you having a lot of these mayors saying they're gonna buck the system and they're gonna protect the illegals and they will fight the military and ICE. How do you feel about us trying to get our state back just when you have mayors in these cities that is getting ready to defy even federal orders?
Well, as far as federal orders, Tom Homan made that very clear. They're not going to get away with that. So, I mean, we're only in right, week one
Hmm.
of the presidency, right? I mean, so, and already they went into New Jersey, a blue state, and deported a bunch of illegals. So they'll be here. I'm sure if they don't have it already, they will establish an ICE office in Georgia, and they're going to ignore these people. And if I remember correctly, Tom Holman was talking about accountability for people who don't abide by the federal law. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to say anything that's incorrect, but there's ways to enforce laws, and there's ways to stop these sanctuary cities, and it's going to happen. They're going to do it. Trump has talked about it. Tom Homan's talked about it, and you know, one thing I know from being retired law enforcement is you cannot just ignore federal law.
Oh,
You
wow.
you could surround yourself in a Democrat city and ignore it, but that doesn't take away the fact that the feds could come in and arrest people who are breaking federal law. And at some point, you're as an elected official, if you're stopping them from doing their duties, you're going to end up getting arrested because we now have to tell you, look, I've heard people say that daddy's back, the boss is back. This anarchy and ignoring the rule of law is going to stop. There's going to be accountability, and the federal agents are going to do their job.
Well, what just came out today, and I forgot the man that was around AOC, they have already drawn up impeachment papers on President Trump because he pardoned the January the Sixers. Did you see that come out today?
No, I didn't. But I mean, once you say AOC, you might as well play the Bug Bunny Looney Tunes. I mean, it's these people are just all batshit crazy. Excuse my language. But we have a majority. They're not going to get any impeachment through. They'll bring these papers up, and Speaker Johnson's just not going to address it. That's not going to happen this time, lefties. We have the majority. You're not going to be able to impeach the president, and the country is just sick and tired of these games. We're tired of the political lawfare that your side launched, including here in Georgia, and they're tired of these impeachments that you did the first time Trump won. So now we're here. He's won for a third time. I want to make that clear. And you're not going to impeach him. We have unified government. We're going to go forward. We're going to implement the agenda. It's what America voted for.
Today he went to North Carolina. I don't think I shed a couple of tears because I've been following the Hurricane Helena victims, but I thought they would be at least sort of made whole by now, realizing that FEMA hasn't really did anything, and all the cold snaps that's been happening since the 1st of January, those people are freezing to death up there. When Trump said that he might dismantle FEMA, but help the people in North Carolina too. What do you think about that? Do we need a FEMA, or do we need our own security people? I mean, rescuers, or should he focus on like Sumerian Purse and the Cajun Navy type of people that we know is actually going to get in there and get the job done?
Well, Franklin Graham runs an amazing organization that conducts relief efforts, not just for hurricane victims, but for pro-life around the world and surgeries around the world. So his help is always appreciated everywhere. The Cajun Navy's great volunteer program, but these are not government agencies. Do we need a FEMA? Uh, you know, in my opinion, we need a FEMA that operates properly under proper management to help people. We don't need a FEMA run by the deep state or the bureaucracy or lefties. We need people who actually run that type of organization independently that don't make political decisions. Why is FEMA supporting California
Ooh,
and not North Carolina, blue state, red state? I think it's obvious.
yep.
So let's get independent people that are neutral to politics to run something that's supposed to disperse relief throughout disaster zones. That's just my take on it.
Boots on the ground in Ukraine. Zelensky, as you know, Davos is happening this week, the World Economic Forum, And Zelensky got up in front of the world leaders yesterday and said that he needs boots on the grounds and he need American soldiers to come over there and push. I had to laugh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. But he wants our boys and our girls to be shipped off to Ukraine to fight their war. Why? Can we just get out of there?
Yeah, let's not fill up our cemeteries with American bodies of our finest young men for somebody else's war, especially a country that was involved with framing the president in the Russia hoax. I'm sorry to say that, but that's how I feel. Let's protect our nation, practice peace through strength, and fight for our allies like Israel. Let's wipe out these terrorists. I mean that's a legitimate battle.
Mm-hmm.
Hamas is a terrorist organization. That's one thing. Getting involved in a conflict in Europe. Uh, we don't need World War III, and Trump is here to prevent that.
Do you think he will? Because right now, NATO, it's a lot of NATO countries. There's a lot of NATO countries that are very mad at what Trump said at when he was addressing Davos of the World Economic Forum yesterday, basically telling them to pay their fair share, that it's going to be America First agenda, and that the money train and the bank account has come to an end. What do you think about that? And do you think there's going to be any pushback? We know there's a couple of countries, presidents that are already speaking out and giving wagging their fingers at President Trump and pretty much saying, "Who do you think you are?" Well, we are closed bank account.
Well, this is a repeat of 2016, right? I mean, the president went in there and they all had their little theatrics, and in the end, Trump got them in line because they want things from us, and Trump is not going to make deals with people who don't reciprocate. There's no more feeding money to people who don't give what we need. This is a two-way street in the art of the deal with President Trump, and countries are going to have to reciprocate. We're not supporting the world anymore. We're going to protect our country. We're going to secure our borders. We're going to take care of our people. It's America first. It's MAGA. We're not globalists.
I love it. Oh, that's so. It's so refreshing to hear somebody. We're not globalists. We are literally American citizens. Dave said we got 4 minutes, but let's keep going. Now,
Okay.
Tom Homan and all of these ice busts, and you hearing all these people, especially that one guy said, "I'm not going back. You can't send me back to Hades." Do
Oh,
you think?
the guy that was thanking Joe Biden.
And Barack Obama, he said thanks
Yeah.
Barack too. Do you think they're gonna start tipping off their friends and people are really gonna really and be serious this time and self deport before we have to do it ourselves?
Well, there have been reports of massive self-deporting for whatever reason. I guess I can't tell you what's in people's heads, but there was an exodus of people reported leaving our country. Because I'm pretty sure if they get arrested and deported, they can't become a citizen. So I think, again, I'm doing this from memory, so don't quote me on it. Look it up. But I'm pretty sure they're going back voluntarily because they want to be a citizen eventually. So they're going to try to do it the right way. Hey, it doesn't, that's we're the only country in the world that had open borders at one point. So let's do it the right way. Apply for citizenship like everybody else.
With all
We'd love
the
to have you
with all the
that
illegals
way.
that's in prison, private prison, federal prison, state prison, local prisons, shouldn't they this is what I'm saying, and I want to ask you, clear those out first, mass arrest who needs to be mass arrest, lock them up in the prison, and slowly but surely get them out of the country.
Oh yeah, there's going to be policies on the way the administration handles all this that you're asking about. So rather than me just speculating, we'll get somebody on your show that could talk about these policies properly.
Yeah, I like
But
speculating. I like Dave
you like
suggested.
speculating?
Yeah,
Well,
Dave.
let's do what the communists did to us. Let's
What?
empty out our prisons of all these illegals and send them back to their countries. Let these other countries deal with the mass murderers and rapists. Why should we pay for them to be incarcerated?
That's exactly what the female president said. We have safer streets now. We don't have room to take our people back. No, you're gonna take these criminals back. And
Right.
Dave suggested a big old airplane with no door. And parachutes. What?
There you go. Yeah.
A
Why
C5,
land? Just kick them out.
C-130.
So
The back
there you
door
go.
opens. Send them home.
Stan, don't agree with that.
Well, I couldn't hear him, and I know we're running out of time.
Good, because he said a
And
C-55 with a back door open and just push him out. I'm glad you didn't hear that.
so listen, everybody, remember, Lucretia does this on her own time, on her own funds. So please log on and donate to her. And when it's time to vote for the NRA, she's the most qualified candidate.
Thank you so much, Stan. Everybody, y'all stay tuned. We stand on Facebook. We're gonna read this DHS poster one more time, and then we're just gonna have a good time. So thank you so much, Stan. Y'all, please get over there and donate. Help a sister get a Long Island iced tea in Florida. Everybody else will be right back. Go ahead, Dave.
Thanks.